I can see you. Everything is okay.
You can see, is that right?
I see you. I see you.
Oh,
Currently, I see you.
excellent. Okay, and I'm just starting a recording here. Just let me open up one thing and we're ready to go. We're almost set. I just want to turn a couple of things off. Just while I'm doing this, do you have any questions about the test that you would like to ask me?
Yeah, in the part one, should I say by naturally way? Don't think too much about everything.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, try to be relaxed. Try to show fluency to the examiner. Try and give extended answers. Make stuff up. Make stuff up if you have to. It doesn't have to be like 100% true. If you get asked your favorite movie or something, it doesn't matter what your real favorite is, as long as you talk about a movie that you like. That should be okay. All right, I'm all set up now. Any other questions that you'd like to ask me?
I think no right now.
All right, so I'm going to give you a mock speaking test. I'm going to give you feedback as we go along, and I'll also, at the end, I'm going to give you some feedback along with a score, and I'll also give you some like recommendations about what you can do to improve it. I'll also give you some written feedback with the mistakes that you made, so you don't really need to take notes. I'm going to do that for you. Okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right. And by the way, when are you going to have your real test?
I'm going to have a real test or in April of this year. Maybe 1 month left.
Right. Okay. 1 month. And what is the score that you need to get to?
I hope that in overall I can get a 6.5.
All right. 6.5. And have you taken a test before?
No, this is the first time.
Okay, first time. All right, I'll try and just give you a bit of information as we go. Okay, so part one, you want to give answers of about 3 sentences on average. So it could be 1 sentence. Sometimes if you didn't like the question, it could be longer when you feel comfortable. The examiner may stop you from time to time as well, just because they want to get through a certain number of questions.
Yes.
Probably improve that a bit. Okay, so let's start off now. So we'll begin our test now. Let's talk about your home or accommodation. Do you live in a house or an apartment?
Actually, currently, I'm living in a intensive learning program. I mean, in a school. But in the past, when I lived in Ho Chi Minh City, I rented a house, and this I live alone.
All right. Well, let's talk about where you're living now. How long have you lived there?
Currently, I'm living in the school at school, and I still study here too. So I have been living here for over 10 months.
Oh, it's a long time. Okay. What do you usually do when you have free time?
Well, when I have free time, I usually watch football match with my friends or play football too, because I'm kind of person who are very like playing football.
Thank you. Do you plan to live there for a long time?
Not actually. I hope that when I finish the course here, I will come back to Ho Chi Minh City to live with my friends, and I will get a job. So because in Ho Chi Minh City is not so far my family, so I can keep in touch with my family.
Thank you. All right, so I'll give you some feedback now. You said 10 month. You need 10 months with an S on it. Yeah, okay, so just a little error. You said I'm the kind of person who are. You need who is, right? I'm the kind of person who is.
Who is that?
Who is very like playing football. You can't put very and like together. They don't go well. We have very good, but we don't have very like. You've got to say who really likes playing football. I'm the kind of, I'll leave out the is even. I'm the kind of person who really likes playing football. Okay, just a couple errors in there. Pronunciation. When you said time, it sounds a bit like time.
Yeah.
The time,
Time. Time.
time. I. Just say the I sound. I.
I.
Yeah, and then
I.
tie. I tie time. I tie time. Yeah. I think when you said finish, you had an S instead of an SH, so you had finish. So you want finish.
Yeah.
Just is that
Finish.
yeah, that's good.
Finish.
Yeah, for Vietnamese, the S's and the SH's can cause a lot of problems, and also the C's and the CH sometimes.
I see. I'm trying to practice.
Yeah, I know, and it's not terrible. It's not too bad. But I just want to help you by anything that
Thank
I
you.
find is wrong. I'll tell you. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on and talk about your hometown. What's the name of your hometown?
My hometown is Vĩnh Long province. This is a province in the south of Vietnam. It's not so far Ho Chi Minh City. It's just around 4 or 5 hours to take a bus.
Okay. Thank you. Is it a big city or a small place?
Actually, my hometown is called countryside in the area countryside, and we plant a lot of vegetable, and there also have a lot of rivers. It doesn't like a city with a lot of buildings or some big center.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been living there?
I had been living in my hometown over 20 years, and when I got at university, I lived so far my family to Cam or Conquer City. It is the place that my school located. So I moved to Kansas City and lived there.
Thank you. Do you like your hometown?
Yet, of course, I really like my hometown because my hometown this year we have a good environment for living. It don't have air pollution because we plant a lot of trees, and the people in my hometown, they are very kind and friendly, so they always happy, so I love it.
Thank you. All right. When you say town, I can't hear the N, so I'm just hearing Tau. Right.
Yeah.
So town. When you say
Town.
Yeah, just need the N sound. That's right. You said it is around 4 or 5 hours to take a bus. I'd say it's around 4 or 5 hours by bus. It's around 4 or 5 hours by bus, or yeah, that'd be the best way, by bus.
Yeah.
Okay, so by bus.
Or more naturally than
Yeah. You could say if you take you could say it's around 4 or 5 hours if you take a bus. So you could use take, but that'd be if you take a bus. I'd say around 4 or 5 hours by bus, by foot, by train, by plane. Right.
Yeah, thank you. I see.
All right. A lot of vegetables. Yes, on the end. Yep. The place that my school is located. All right, so it's like a passive, the place that my school is located. You said the people in my hometown, they are. You don't want the they, no they.
Yeah.
Because it's the people. You've already got the people in that clause. You don't want the pronoun they in the same clause. It could go after a conjunction. So the people in my hometown are happy and they are, or something. So you can't have the people and the they in the same clause. Okay. Now, let's talk about transportation. What is the most popular means of transportation where you live?
Uh, in my hometown is also where I live. So the most transportation is bicycle. I'm sorry, motorbike, because every family they also on the motorbike. So when every time we go on the street, we always see a lot of bicycles, motorbikes. So so that reason I think motorbikes is the most transportation in my country.
Thank you. How often do you take buses?
Mm, to be honest, I don't like taking a bus to go or for my work to go to my company. Uh, but I take a bus once in a blue moon, and maybe around twice or one time a week. Right.
Mm. Is driving to work popular in your country?
I think so. My personality, I think so because taking motorbikes, I think is more easier than to take a bus because people in my hometown who uh, don't needn't to wait for a long time with the bus, and when they take a motorbike. When we have a traffic jam, it's also easier to move to overcome that situation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Do you prefer to use public transportation or private transportation?
As I said before, I don't like a bus. It means public transportation, because I think it's not convenient to me because maybe it wastes me a lot of time, and even it more cheaper than use my own motorbike. But mm, I don't think so. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So you said the most is motorbike. You want to say the most common? So I asked you what's the most popular. You said the most is motorbike. The most common is motorbike or most popular. Just
Yeah.
need another word in there.
Yeah.
Just then you said it wastes me a lot of time. You could say it costs me a lot of time, or it wastes a lot of my time. It wastes a lot of my time. Yeah.
Can I say cost me a lot of time?
Yeah, it costs me a lot of time, or it takes me a lot of time, or I waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
I waste a lot of, maybe I'm confused now. I can't remember all the sentences.
Thank you, teacher.
It wastes a lot of my time. It wastes a lot of my time. You said more cheaper. You just want to say cheaper, no more, because the more is in the It's
To
cheap,
compare with
cheaper.
the other.
Right. But cheap, cheaper, expensive, more
Yeah, I see.
expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cheaper.
short word. Just add a cheap, cheaper.
Yeah, cheaper. Yeah.
Expensive, more expensive. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's the end of the part one. There's some errors in there. There's some issues with pronunciation. There's going to be a bit of homework, things for you to work on, but you've still got a month to prepare, and you'll be able to work on these issues and overcome them, I think. Let's now move on to part two of the test. Do you know roughly what happens in part two?
As I know, I have 1 minute to prepare. Prepare, and I have totally around 2 minutes for speaking.
That's right. I'm going to give you the topic now. I'm going to put it into and to zoom into this application. I'll just put it in there now. Can you see that topic? I put it into the chat area.
I see.
You see it? Okay, good. So it says at the top, describe a quiet place you found. That's what the examiner cares about. They care about this first sentence. It's going to look just like this when you get it. But it's going to be in a book. Right? The examiner's going to give you a book. They're going to give you a pencil and paper. And then below that, you can see a few things, where it is, what it looks like, how often you go there, how you feel about it. Those are there to just give you ideas. The main thing is to describe a quiet place. Really what you want to do is think of this quiet place. Pick somewhere that's going to be easy for you to describe. It could be an indoor place. It could be an outdoor place. It could be both, possibly. And then think of about 4 things that you want to say about it. Okay, so you could say where it is. You could describe it. You could say why you go there, maybe, what you do there, who you go with. There's lots of things. All right, so now I'll give you 1 minute to plan your answer. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, can you start speaking now, please?
Yes. When it come to describing a quiet place I found, I would like to describe about the coffee shop in my house. It's located in District in Ho Chi Minh City, and you know what? In that coffee shop, there are this is like a small room. It looks like my house, and in that coffee shop, there are decorate some table in front of the room, and we also a parking lot next to the coffee shop. Uh, I I usually come there with my friends maybe 4 or 5 times a week to enjoy the coffee and to go far away with the like a noise environment around me. Uh, mm, even I even I go even I'm so busy, but every time in my friend to make a plan to and invite me to come that coffee shop, I always upset, and when I come there, I had a feeling that this looked like my family house, and because it's quiet, so I can read book. I can read book and share and talk with my friends about how my work or think about a new idea for my business. Mm, and you know what? Everyone, they also come their coffee shop and they vote. These are like beautiful place and maybe a good place for stay and reading and sharing and maybe have a good conversation. And I think in the future I on way uh, to be a customer at that coffee shop and to get to get more friends and to get more friends to because I also want to have the good environment for the rest, like for the rest of my life, because
All right, I'm
yeah,
going to stop you there just because the time's up. The examiner will do the same. All right, there's not too many errors, but let me go through. Most of these are quite minor. You said when it come to. You want when it comes.
yeah,
So
when
it comes,
comes,
they come. Yeah. So singular noun, verb has S, right? To describe about a coffee shop. We don't describe about, we talk about or describe. So describe a coffee shop or
talked
talk
about,
about
yeah,
a coffee shop. Yeah, yeah. It looked like my house. It looks the same as that. It comes, it looks. Okay, so it's the same error. You just got to work on that a
yeah, I
bit
see, yeah,
and get it to disappear.
it comes,
Uh,
it looks,
right, right. Right at the end, you said everyone they also come there. You don't want the they in there. Everyone also comes there. So no they in that sentence.
mm,
Okay. Then what else? So in terms of the errors, that's really good. In terms of the errors, that's good enough for 7. But I want to see more high-level language. Okay.
yeah,
Now, part 2 always starts with the word describe. So one of the things I teach people is that you want to have lots of high-level adjectives for describing things, especially for describing people, places, and things. This is a relaxing place. You could talk about a tranquil atmosphere. Have you heard the word tranquil before?
just low atmosphere,
Yeah, so tranquil atmosphere is like a sort of calm, relaxed atmosphere.
I
Right.
see.
So you want to build up some adjectives for describing places. It could be hustling and bustling if it's busy. There's adjectives that you want to build up. You want to build up some adjectives for people. Outgoing person is an extrovert, and a quiet, shy person is an introvert. So you want to be building up this
Mm,
sort of language to describe things. Okay. And then that'll help you in the test. You do it over the next month, and it doesn't need to be too much. Don't want too many adjectives, but let's say 6 to 10 adjectives to describe different types of places.
yeah,
Some adjectives to describe a person. Think about how you would describe your phone, because
yeah.
that can be a useful topic. Something you lost, something expensive you bought, something that's important to you. You can talk about your phone. So build up some adjectives to describe it. All right. Let's
Thank
now
you.
move on to the part 3. Now, the part 3 keeps the topic from the part 2. The focus of the test shifts. We've been talking about you, and now we get to talk about people in general, people in your country. It's not really about you anymore. Okay. Um,
Yes.
so let's talk about quiet places some more. Is it hard to find quiet places in cities?
Mm. Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
Yes, sure. Is it hard to find quiet places in cities?
Mm, you mean how quiet places in my country?
Let me rephrase it, and you can ask the examiner to do that in part 3. Is it difficult to find quiet places inside cities?
Mm, well, I think so because nowadays everything is so fast. It's not only in our life but also for the business or something else. So, um, uh, so find find out the quiet play in the city. I think is so hard, and maybe it will take you a lot of times to find. And because in Ho Chi Minh, in the city, there are a lot of transportation, a lot of people, so everything they go and they make loud. So yeah, I think these are the reason that make the reason that find out the quiet light is so hard.
Mm-hmm. Mhm. Well, are there any quiet places that you can think of in cities?
Mm, I think in a library, maybe in a library at some in the library in the some university in the city, and I think that is really quite place because we are not allowed to make noisy, and we need to keep quiet for everyone. For everyone who read books or they make their research.
Hmm. Okay. Um, you said it will take you a lot of times. No, no S, no S. Just it will take you a lot of time. Time when we're talking about hours, minutes, and seconds, uncountable. Um, Time when we're talking about repeating something, that's countable. We do it 5 times. Okay, you said we're not allowed to make noisy. We're not allowed
Make
to make
allowed.
noise. Yeah,
Yeah.
not allowed to make noise. That's it. Say for me, research.
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 You've got sh. You want s.
Research.
Research. Now you're saying search with like an sh, a sh, but you want a search. One more time, research.
Research.
All right, practice that one. Research. Okay. Is it always quiet in the countryside?
Mm, uh, Not actually. The most of area in the countryside are quiet, but it's not totally far quiet because in the countryside nowadays we also have some the industrial and they have like in the center of the town, so they also have some like they run their business and the transportation they are like crowded, so they this is also the resource of noise, so I think it's not really totally quiet in the countryside.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. You said nowadays. You want nowadays.
Yeah.
With an S, just add an S on, and that's fine. Do older people tend to live in quieter places than young people?
Mm, Personally, I think old people they are likely to live in the countryside because they are quiet. And this is because two of reason. The first reason is uh, old people they are so bored with the big cities. It's a lot of noise. They have to do their work every day and uh, they want to chill out sometime or somehow yeah maybe, and the other reason is in the countryside when they are retired, so they want to spend the rest of their time in the like peaceful place and they enjoy their life with their family. I think so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Excellent. All right, you got one error in there though. You're putting they in the sentence and you don't want it. So you've got old people, they are likely to. And then later you've got old people, they are so bored. So you're putting the noun and the pronoun right after it. You've got people and then they. Got to take out the they, right? So just
Yeah,
old people are likely to, old people are so bored.
I got mistake that before, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and you did that earlier. So it's just a error in your language that you've got to try and work on over the next month, right?
Yeah,
Get
thank
rid of
you.
that error before you take the test. Okay. Um, what sort of annoying noises do neighbours sometimes make?
Mm, mm, there is some kind of noise that neighborhood make. My neighbor make like I mean transportation when they like take their car to go around, so they give the engine, so it make noise. And um, or when we have it, so we use the machine to have it, the maybe the fuel of rice, and so it's also the result of noise. And even when they are argue argue each other, maybe in their family they have problem with their family, the husband and the wife argue together, so maybe it make noise.
All right, thank you. You said that my neighbour makes, or neighbours make.
Yeah.
Right, so you got to get, is another thing you've got to work on. Singular noun, verb has s. Plural noun, no s. You got to work on this daily. So like
Yeah.
come up with these errors and just review them daily. They'll start to go away. It's not so much that there's lots of errors. It's just you've got a few common ones that you want to work on, right? Okay, say for me, husband.
Husband.
Yeah, husband, that's really good. All right, what I'm going to do now is give you some feedback, and then you're welcome to ask me questions. I think you're probably like a 6 at the moment. You're probably a 6 for each of the criteria. You want to get to 6.5, you need 2 7s. Okay, so you need to get 2 of the criteria up to 7.
Yeah,
all
2
right?
7 and 2 6.
Yeah. If you only had 1 7, it's not enough, because you'll get 6.25, and then they're going to round it down and not up. So you need 2 7s. Now, I reckon the fluency's pretty close already. Fluency's close to 7. You just want to get a bit more familiar with the test. I'll give you a link to my website, and you can see some of the current questions, and you can practice those, and you might get lucky and get those in the real test. But even if you didn't, just get used to the style of questions and how to respond to them. You're close to 7 there. Pronunciation, you're not really close. You're going to have to do a lot of work in that area. You're not far away. It's difficult for Vietnamese speakers to pronounce English correctly. The S's, the SH,
Yes.
the N sounding of words. I've heard much worse. You're getting a lot of it right, but just occasionally you slip. So let me just tell you the words, and I'll give them to you in written form. Maybe you can say these words after me. Okay, say these words after me. The, time, finish, town, street, bus, research. Yeah, that's good. You got it right. Then husband. Right. So yeah, it's not too bad. If you practice these, if you work on it, I could see you getting to 7, because you've got a month. That's plenty of time. Okay, vocabulary. There's not too many errors with the vocabulary, but you need more high-level language to get to 7. So there's 2 things I'm going to recommend. 1, adjectives for part 2, describing things. High-level words. Right.
Sorry, I need to edit in part 2 with the high level of vocabularies.
Yeah, especially adjectives, because you're always asked to describe something. So like you had a place, you want more adjectives to describe that place. If it's a person, like your best friend or something, you want adjectives to describe best friend. If you're going to talk about your phone, adjectives for your phone. So work on that. And the other big one, idiomatic expressions. Okay, they're powerful to get to 7. So when we're happy, we feel in high spirits. When we look for information on the internet, we're surfing the internet. You want more of this language. I'm going to give you some in the written feedback. Grammar, you've got some common errors that you want to work on. The they, you're putting they in clauses where you don't want it, where there's already a noun in there.
Yeah.
And you've got to work on the subject-verb agreement. Singular noun, verb has s. Plural noun, no s. Got to work on those 2 issues. Is in a few places. All right. Now, would you like to ask me some questions?
Well, so as you mentioned before, the idiom sometimes will lead me to get a high score in the speaking. But
Yes.
I have a question that should I add idiom in which part of my test?
Anywhere you can, any place that you can do it. Now, the way to, I'm going to give you a list of some idioms. You can review those, you can learn them. Then what you got to do is practice using them. Look at questions, think what you'd say, think what idiomatic expression you might use. A relaxing place, you might talk about chilling out. To chill out means to relax, right? You might talk about hanging out with your friends, they're spending time with your friends. If you're happy there, you're feeling high spirits there because you feel really relaxed due to the tranquil atmosphere. So you just get used to getting these words out. So the idea is don't try and have too big a vocabulary. Just work on a few adjectives, work on a few idiomatic expressions, and then you want to try to get those out in your test. It's really important.
Yeah, and another question is when I can't understand clearly about the question of examiner, so which is the better way that I can fix this?
So you can ask the examiner to repeat the question. You can say, can you please repeat the question? In part 1. In part 3, you can ask them to repeat or rephrase. You can say, can you please rephrase that? So rephrase means you understood it, but or you heard it, but you just didn't understand it, and then the examiner can rephrase. But they can only rephrase in part 3, not in part 1. Okay, no rephrasing in the part 1. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any other questions that you'd like to ask?
So another question is, so with my goal is get a 6.5 in speaking test. So with while we are talking each other right now, so could you give me some advice? That I mean the most important thing that I can do for 1 month later, maybe that from now until 1 month later, yeah, the most important thing that I can do.
So these are what I think you should be doing. You should be looking at current questions and thinking about how to answer them and what vocabulary you can use to answer them. Okay? I'm going to give you links to some current questions. That'll help a lot with fluency and vocabulary. You want to work on pronunciation. Every day, practice the list of words that I told you mispronounced. Practice them every day. Then you won't make those mistakes in the test. You might have some other ones, but at least you won't have those. And then vocabulary, you need the high-level language, right? Grammar, you need to reduce errors. So work on those issues that I highlighted to you. That maybe you could even go online, say subject-verb agreement, and do some quizzes. Read about it, do some quizzes if you don't understand it. That's what I think you need to be doing. And if you can do it daily, that would be best. If you can't do it every day, do it as much as you can. Lots of repeated study is effective. All right. Just give me about 10-15 minutes, and I will send you through written feedback. It'll show you the mistakes, and I'll also put those suggestions on there and also some links to a website to help you.
Yeah. Thanks for your sharing and helping me.
You're most welcome, and good luck with your studies.
Yeah, thank you, teacher.
You take care. Have a good night over there.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, all right.
Bye now.
Nice to meet you today online.
See you.
Okay, bye-bye. I don't know how to close it. I had to leave meeting. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.